education, health, security, and other topical stories making rounds in the country. You can join us live on the studio by calling in on 0706 048 5853, 0706 048 5853, or 0915 570 8347. And we are live on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, comment, share the video for others to be part of the conversation. All right, and please do ensure that when you do calling or when you send a message, and very civil, very clean. We cannot keep talking about it, so ensure that you are very civil with your words. All right, let's move straight into what we have this morning. And on the top stories on today's papers, we see the execution of Kwara residents. This happened on Tuesday. But most of the reports came out yesterday of about 162 residents that were killed in Kwara. And they said that they were executed by jihadists. And this is very sad. This is a report that was given by the Red Cross. They gave this report that over 162 persons were executed by the jihadists. And one of the reasons they were executed was because they refused to be loyal to them, to say that, to accept the Sharia. They refused to accept the Sharia law. And it's a very sad event. It's a very sad thing, because from reports, some persons are still abducted, some persons are still kidnapped. And although the president has ordered deployment of troops to the states, we really don't know the situation now, whether things are calm, but it's very hard for things to be calm when a lot of persons have been killed. So it says 162, but under it we see 175 victims. Okay, we see 75 victims given mass burial. 75 victims given mass burial, 2 others, deployment of troops to states, and some other persons killed. You know, we are talking about Kwara State. Kwara State, this is southwest. This has left the northern state that we used to talk about, Kano, Katsina, and Sokoto, and some of these states in the north. Now we are talking about southwest, Kwara State. Lots of people killed, and from report they were tied and killed. What keeps saying, talking about security agencies, exactly what are they doing? It's until something happens, that is when troops are sent to that particular location. Before then, the security should be at alert. They really need to. So now that troops are sent, what are they trying to prevent? More massacre. Because a lot has already been done. A lot has been done. And it's so sad that this keeps happening in the country. It's really sad because it can spread. Now it's Kwara State. It can get to another state. You go to it, just like you coming to Enugu and telling people to accept the Sharia law. These are Christians. And you already know what they're going to say. You already know that they're not ready to denounce their Christianity to become a Muslim. And then because they refused this, you killed over 162. The insecurity going on in the country really needs to be checked. Because if we don't talk about it, we say it is very far from us. But when we allow things like this to happen, if it can't happen to states in the southwest, in the north, it can happen to other states. No, I don't know how many of the persons that killed 162 residents in Kwara State. I don't know how many of the terrorists, the bandits. But the time that it took to kill all these persons doesn't mean that the security, they didn't hear sounds of gunshots or however way it is that uproar, people did not run, people did not, like, what happened exactly? Because these are the questions we need to be asking. It's not just it. We are not talking about one person killed or two persons killed. We are talking about over 162. Imagine the time spent in killing them, and then there were no signs of security. And now the president has ordered that troops be sent to that location. It's really sad because these are people's family members. These are people's friends. And there are people mourning. All the states really need to improve their security. They've been talking about state police for a long time, and I think right now the matter is dead because we've not been hearing about it. But at ending of last year, they were talking about state police, bringing it in, and for each of the states to have their own police for emergencies like this to be handled immediately. But then we've not heard anything. We've not heard, I think after the last meeting that the governors had, we've not heard anything from about the state police, whether they are going to go on with it or not. But we know that we need security. We need recruitment of police officers. We need recruitment of soldiers, people that are going to protect the lives of the citizens. People that will respond speedily and not wait until the president gives an order for troops before they know that they are going to secure lives. So it's really sad that we wake up every morning and what we keep hearing is social amount of number of persons were killed, number of persons were kidnapped. When is it going to end? That is exactly the questions a lot of Nigerians are asking. When is it going to end? But then let me take you through the story on the Vanguard newspaper, and it says that no fewer than 162 people have been killed in a deadly attack on Woro village in Kayama local government area of Kwara State. And on Tuesday, it happened on Tuesday, in what has been described as the deadliest armed assault in the state this year. And they continued that a Red Cross official and local authorities confirmed the figure, while residents recounted harrowing details of mass execution. The secretary of the Kwara State chapter of the Red Cross said the confirmed death toll stood at 162 as of Wednesday afternoon, while a local politician said that the figure could be high as 170. So it's really sad that this number of persons have been killed, and we don't know the action that the troops that have been sent, don't know the action they are going to take. We really don't know, but a lot needs to be done to secure the lives of citizens. And then 75 victims have been given mass burial. 75 victims of them were given mass burial yesterday afternoon. And the chairman of the local government led an official delegation to the affected communities during the burial. Meanwhile, one of the survivors and village head of Woro said he was away when the attackers struck, but lost members of his family in the violence. Imagine what it means to continuously lose your family member to attacks by these bandits. Imagine what it means. Meanwhile, the US has sent some troops to Nigeria, and we hope that they are going to do better. Yes, we really don't know if they are here for the bandits or if they are here for the sympathizers of the bandits. But whatever it is that they are here for, they should ensure that the lives of the citizens are protected. Yes, they should support the military that we already have and ensure that people's lives are not, we don't just come out and hear that a lot of lives have been lost. So this is really a bad story, a very sad one, a very sad one. And we hope that the government does something about it, and very fast does something about it. All right, so that is it on the story. And remember that if you have any opinion, any comments to make on this, you can always call on 0706 048 5853. All right, so moving on, still on the Vanguard newspaper, we see Electoral Acts. Senate passes bill, rejects mandatory electronic transmission of results. Senate passes bill, rejects mandatory electronic transmission of results. So the Senate yesterday passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, but rejected electronic transmission of results, an item that some stakeholders consider critical for free and fair elections in 2027. I don't really see the reason for rejecting this electoral transmission of results. It's just like, it's now what they tell us. It's now the result that they tell us that we are going to accept. But then what do you expect from the Senate when the president wanted to submit the budget for 2026 and they all stood up to sing on your mandate we shall stand? I mean, this is the Senate is supposed to be independent, right? Or am I missing something? They are supposed to stand on their own. Just like we expect the INEC, we expect the judiciary to stand on its own. The Senate is not supposed to support any political leader or any political party. But for most of them, or all of them, to stand and sing on your mandate we shall stand, it means that what the president says or any order that the president gives is likely what the Senate will do. We expect differently from them. We really do. We really expect differently from them. So the story, the Senate passed the Electoral Act 2022 Amendment Bill after the third reading, and it rejected a proposed amendment to Clause 60. And this is the story on, let me not bore you with the story, but then it has reduced the time from 360 to 180 for the